Upstream tuba players are more rare to find than trumpet players, probably because the larger mouthpiece size can make it difficult to place the mouthpiece so low. An upstream tuba player will need a long enough and flat enough chin to accommodate the lower placement. The larger mouthpiece size and increased surface area of the lips that vibrate make it very easy to see the lip position of an upstream tuba embouchure. Because the tuba is held on the lap and not just by the hands, tuba players will need to adjust their bodies and instrument together to make the embouchure motion. Upstream tuba players will still want to pull the mouthpiece and lips together down to ascend and push them upward to descend, just as on trumpet and trombone. Upstream French horn players seem to be the most uncommon of all brass instruments. I suspect that this has less to do with any difference in the instrument or the way that it's played, but rather that most horn methods have been written by downstream players who erroneously assume that since they can't play successfully with a low mouthpiece placement, no one should. Many upstream students on all brass instruments have been told by downstream teachers to move their placement up on the lips, instead of learning how to make their upstream embouchure function properly. If the student has the anatomy best suited for an upstream embouchure, no amount of practice will make a downstream embouchure work as well for them. Because the upstream embouchure functions differently from the downstream embouchures, teachers need to become aware of common issues that upstream students deal with. Pulling the mouth corners back to ascend, as if smiling, doesn't work well for any embouchure type, but upstream players are more prone to this problem than any other. Look at the mouth corners on this upstream trombonist. As he plays higher, he stretches his lips back, causing this particular player's sound to thin out and resulting in a range cap at D above high B flat. While upstream players will often find high range to be one of their playing strengths, they often struggle to play with an open and focused sound in the low register. Frequently, they'll compensate by collapsing their embouchure formation to descend, like this upstream trombonist. Ascending back up from a collapsed embouchure formation will necessitate resetting the mouthpiece on the lips, and inconsistencies in embouchure form like this sometimes causes problems in other ranges too. Reversals in the direction of the embouchure motion are issues that all embouchure types have to deal with, and often manifest in the extreme upper or lower register. Watch my embouchure motion of pulling the mouthpiece and lips together downward to ascend and pushing upward to descend. When I slur from low B flat to pedal B flat, I reverse the direction of my embouchure motion. It makes it difficult to slur around low B flat. This is probably caused by moving too far with my descending embouchure motion for the low B flat, forcing me to come back to where it should be for pedal B flat. Practice minimizing my descending embouchure motion should help me keep the motion moving consistently upward to descend and make it easier to play in the extreme low range. I hope that you find this brief introduction into the upstream embouchure helpful. The most important thing to remember is that you cannot choose to play with an upstream or downstream embouchure. You can only learn how to play with the embouchure that fits your own unique anatomy. Brass teachers should encourage their students to place the mouthpiece where it will work most efficiently and help them learn to work with, not against, their own individual physical characteristics.